Hi everyone, I'm Jason Tripp. I want to welcome you to the Common Ground Cafe for another board game tutorial video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the game Fuse. 1 to 5 player real-time game where you're defusing bombs, trying to beat the clock together with your teammates. So let's take it to the table, we'll take a look, and I'll come back and give my final thoughts later. Okay, here's a look at Fuse. What Fuse is, it's a real-time game, and in Fuse, we're going to simulate a 2-player game. Each player is racing against the clock. There's a 10-minute countdown. You can use it with an app or just any 10-minute timer will do. And we're rolling dice. We have this Fuse bag, and in this bag, we have a number of different colored dice. And we're going to, depending on the player count, we're going to roll a number of dice equal to the players. We're playing a 2-player game now. In a 2-player game, you roll 4 dice. So one person will roll 4 dice, and then each player in a 2-player game, it's a 4-player game, will be 1 person each. 3-player game, you roll 3 dice. 5-player game, you roll 5 dice. We're going to roll the dice, and we're going to cooperatively, it's a cooperative game, we're going to choose which of these dice we want to keep to put on our bomb cards. The point of the game is to collect the right color and number dice in order to defuse bombs. Depending on the difficulty level, you're going to start with a certain amount of these fuse cards. You put them off to the side. You have a pool of 5 in the middle. Each player in a 2 to 5 player game has 2 bomb cards in front of them. And as soon as we would start the 10-minute timer, one person would roll the dice. So if I roll these dice, I've got these dice here. We'll go slow just for the sake of explaining the game, but usually you want to go quick because you're working up against the clock. And so I roll these 4 dice. Now Sierra, I'm playing 2-player with Sierra here, and Sierra's got these 2 bomb cards. So just to explain what these bomb cards are like, so here's one bomb card here. This is a level 1. They're leveled 1 through 4. There are a few level 6s, but unless you're really advanced, you want to remove those from the game. And as you can see, on this, there's room for 4 dice. And each of the dice has to be a different color, not equal sign right there. So each of these has to be a different color. That's one of the easy ones. Sierra's other bomb card here, level 3, a lot more difficult. Some cards you'll see this arrow here. That simply tells you that the dice actually need to be stacked in a tower on this white one, starting with number 3. So the bottom die of the 3 would have to be a 3. The second die would have to be green, any color, and then the top die of the 3 has to be any color yellow any number yellow or any color with the number 1. So in this case, Sierra could take 2 different colors, but I'm also want to look at my cards at the same time. I've got a very difficult one here. I've got a level 4. These have to be specific numbers or colors. So based on what we've rolled, I see on this card here, I really would like a green 1 or a blue 1. I have rolled a green 1, so I would say, Sierra, I really need that green 1. And she would say, okay, go ahead and take it. So I would take that and physically put that on my card. And Sierra might look and see, well, there's no 3, she can't do anything there, so she would take 2 different colors. And I'd say, I want the 6 as well because I need a 3 or 6, so I'd leave her the black or the red. She has a little more choice involved. I would put the 6 on my card here, and then I finished 2/3 of this card. She's finished half of her level 1 card. We would do that certainly much quicker than I'm doing now, and then whoever is designated to roll would grab blindly 4 more dice out of the bag. I would roll those dice, and then we would repeat that process. And so now, based on what we've rolled, we discuss what we want to do. And I would tell Sierra, well, if I can get that 2, I can finish my hard, difficult card. And she would say, okay, I'll go ahead and take that 2. Sierra might say, well, I need a 3 to get this card started, and there is a 3, so she could take that 3 and put it there. Now the challenge with that is, she might, once you place it, you can't move it, but she might say, oh, well, if I do that, then I can't take any of these because she needs to have different colors here, and she's already got a black and a red. So she might say, oh, maybe I'll take. Either way, we're going to be in trouble. So she's going to put that there. My other card says I can take any number I want here. It's a level 1. I just have to stack 5 in a row. So I've already taken one, so I can only take one more. So I'll take the black one and put it there. Now, we've got a problem. Neither of us can take this red 4 because I've already taken 2. That's my limit. Sierra's taken 1, but she can't legally place this one because she needs it to be green over on this card. She can't put another red here because these all have to be different cards. So in that case, when you ever get to a point in the game where neither player can take a number or a color, that die is immediately rerolled. And it's a 2, and at that point, every player has to remove a red die or a 2 from their cards. So Sierra would have to take the penalty to remove that. Normally, I would have to remove this 2, but because it's on a card that's already been completed, I don't have to. So we put those dice back in the bag. Because I've completed a card, I now remove those dice from the card, put them back into the die bag. I take the completed card, put it off to the side. That will be scored later in the game. I will replace that completed card with something from the pool to choose from. Well, I've already got an easy card, so maybe I'll go for a difficult one. I'll grab that, and then we would re-roll again. We'll just throw you 1/3 and final roll here for this example. So again, I've got lots of options for my easy card. Sierra's going to take 2, so she needs a green. If she gets a green and a 1, she can finish this card here. So she'll stack the green. Normally, if one of the die topples off your tower, you lose all the dice, but we won't worry about that. So she finishes that card. I have a card here that I need to stack them small to large. I need 4 numbers, but they have to get progressively bigger. So that's not going to help with a 4 and a 6, so I will just put these over here. So you continue until the game ends in one of 2 ways. Either you complete all the cards in the middle as well as all the cards here you're flipping over. Now, one thing I should say, some of these cards, when they flip, they will be these fuse cards. They'll either have a number or a color on them, and when you get that number or that color, you just immediately, everyone has to remove that color or number, much like when we re-rolled that die, then those get set aside. If you can get through the whole stack, completing all the cards in the middle and all the stack, you win. You can stop the app or timer immediately, and if the 10-minute timer runs out before you finish, then unfortunately the bombs have gone off and you have lost the game. So that's basically the run through on how you play Fuse. Let's go back up and I'll give some of my final thoughts. All right, that's a quick look at the cooperative game, real-time game Fuse. Wanted to give a few final thoughts. Oh, I'm out of breath just from those 3 rolls. You can imagine how it is in a 10-minute countdown, and there's a lot of pressure. There's a bit of tension in the game, as you can imagine. This is a highly entertaining game. This is one of my favorite cooperative real-time games. Quick filler game. Really takes 10 minutes or less to play. It plays well at every player count. It plays 1 to 5 players, and with different ages. I've had a blast with this game. Play it a lot with my family. Play it with my gaming group. Play it solo. This is one of my favorite solitaire games. So I typically don't like playing solitaire games. This is one of the exceptions. Every once in a while, it's good just pull out the game and got a quick 10 minutes to spare, see if I can beat the next level up. I love that there's different skill levels as well. You can play basic training or standard all the way up to what they call insane level, meaning there's more cards in the stack, which is virtually impossible to beat, but enjoy trying. I think the sweet spot for this game is 2 to 4 players. 5 gets a little intense. With 5 players, you're rolling 5 dice. And then, of course, the challenge is to communicate where everybody only gets one of those 5 dice. And you have to agree on who needs those individual dice more than the other individual. So it takes some good conversation and communication, working together. And as that clock is approaching 0, you can imagine the game gets pretty tense. What compounds the intenseness of the game is that with the app, not only is there a running countdown timer, but there's an artificial sort of voice that is talking to you. And they have the option of a basic voice, which is just letting you know how much time is left, or there's a personality voice, which tends to get a little snarky and sarcastic, which sort of adds to the humor as well as the tension of the game. The theme is great. It really does feel like you're working together against the clock. You're racing to defuse these bombs. I find the theme is very immersive. It fits the game. The aesthetics, they're great. The cards, I appreciate the artwork on the cards. They're not too flimsy. Good size and weight to the dice in the game. Nice little felt bag as well, velvet bag. So yeah, the components are great. The aesthetics of the game are nice. The replayability of the game, there's a ton of replayability. Because each time you're going to have different cards, you're going to have different amount of cards, you're going to have different dice being rolled. So this is a game that gets a lot of play. And depending on who you're playing with, the variety of player counts, this game has a good lifespan, and I've played it a lot in my household. The game length, obviously it's 10 minutes or less, and you want it to be less if you win the game. So it's a nice quick filler game. Maybe you got a games night, you got a few games you want to play, this is a good one to start or finish the night with. And again, or if you got a quick 10, 15 minute break and you want to just pull out a game and enjoy with you or alone or with some friends, the game length is spot on. Ease of play, it says age 13 and up on the box. And my 8-year-old plays this. He's pretty good at math, so as long as it's a good family game, as long as your children are decent with math and have good logic and communication skills, 13 is reasonable. But I think 8, 9, 10-year-olds can play this as well and be all right as long as there's some adults playing along with them. So yeah, the ease of play is right there. It's good for families of any age. Tactics and strategy. There is some strategy in the game. Really it's just racing. Some of the tactics that we've encountered in the game is it's good to have one person that's always rolling the dice. Other people are flipping the cards over, so it's kind of assigning who's doing which role throughout the course of the game, and it really is about communication. You need to let the other players know, I desperately need this die. This is the only one of the 4 of the 5 I can use. When 2 people need the same die, then you got to figure out who needs it more and when to try and reduce the amount of wasted dice, which costs you time and dice. So there are some tactics, there are some strategy in the game. All in all, big thumbs up for Fuse. It's a great game. If you'd like a short, real-time game, cooperative game working together, highly recommend Fuse. One of the many games we have here at the Common Ground Cafe. So thanks, and we'll see you again for another Common Ground Cafe tutorial soon.